Hi, it's Mr. Schneider. It's been a while since I visited you with a podcast. This is the test review for Unit 2. I'm going to start off with giving you all the answers to the test. Ready? Number 1 is A. I'm not going to do that. But let's go over the test review that you have, that you've been working on in Google Docs. Make sure you have the right answers. First question is, what are the different functions of a political party? They recruit and nominate candidates. They educate the electorate about different issues. They help candidates win elections, and then they act as a watchdog. They monitor the actions of office holders. So whenever there's Democrats in office, the Republicans would be the watchdog. Oops. Little technical difficulty there. Sorry about that. Okay. How are they similar? They both organize to win elections. They influence public policy. When we talked about, they reflect liberal and conservative views, and they try to campaign towards moderates. Not as much as they used to, obviously. A lot of times we're getting more extreme on both sides. And then where are their differences stated? Differences are in their party platforms. Remember, platforms are the booklets, I guess, of information where they stand on different issues. Characteristics of third parties. Third parties generally revolve around one candidate, one person, and there's usually one or two issues that they focus on. How do we look at campaign material? The first thing we need to be able to do is separating fact from opinion. Is it real or is it what somebody thinks? Detecting bias. Evaluating sources. Where does that information come from? Going back to bias, you learned bias in your English class, so hopefully I need to go over that again. Identifying propaganda, and then looking at material from a lot of different perspectives. Okay, we're going through this quickly. This is information you should know. Mass media, they identify candidates, who's running for office. They emphasize selected issues. Remember, we talked about the things I talk about during the debates. They write opinion pieces, editorials. They endorse candidates, and they broadcast different points of view. They're supposed to broadcast different points of view. Unfortunately, some news sites, some websites, some newspapers tend to lean one way more than they do the other, and some lean left and some lean right. Factors of rising campaign costs. People have to do a lot more fundraising. Remember, in the last election, President Obama raised $750 million of his own of money, and both the candidates this year have raised hundreds of millions of dollars. If you don't have a lot of money, you can't run for office. People often ask, why do we just have the Democrat-Republican Party? Because they have the most money. If you don't have a lot of money, you cannot run for president. And we're talking mainly about running for president right now. It's led to the development of political action committees and special interest groups. Political action committees are like-minded individuals who pull their funds for campaigns, and then special interest groups look at one issue generally, like the NRA is a special interest group. A political action committee would be like if a group of people from a certain, like stockbrokers got together and because they're like-minded individuals, formed a political action committee. And then it does give wealthy individuals an advantage, but it's not really. You raise so much of money that you typically do not want to spend your own money. Yes. All right. Sorry, I called away there. So let's pick up with part 2. We just talked about campaign finance. Now we've had reform with campaign finance because we don't want people to have too much influence on candidates. But as we talked about, special interest groups and PACs tend to have a lot of influence, a lot more than individual donors. All right, what's next? Describing the Electoral College process. Woo. Remember, 51 separate elections, not a national election. Nobody cares what the national vote is, or you shouldn't care. You should care what the vote total is in each state. And remember, it's possible to be elected president without winning the popular vote. It's happened 4 times in our country's history. How do we determine how many electoral college votes each state has? The answer is, right, not population. It's the number of representatives in the House plus 2, the number of senators. All right, good. And that's just a very quick way of looking at the electoral college process. You have to have 270 votes to win. Someone at my door. Hold. All right, it's hard to be so popular. All right, take three. All right, so we're done with the electoral college. Qualifications to vote. You have to be 18. You can only vote in your precinct. Remember, I talked about I live in the Lorton Station precinct. That's the only one I can vote in. You have to be a citizen of the United States and a resident of the state of Virginia. What factors do we look at to determine whether or not somebody's going to vote? The three main factors we looked at were age, education, and income. The older you are, the more education you have, the more money you make, the more likely you are to vote. Why do people not vote? Lack of interest, and they forgot to register. And how do I register in Virginia? By mail application, at the DMV, or at my local registrar's office. All right, so I know it's in three parts. I apologize. But that's a short and really quick review study guide. If you have any questions, ask. Make sure you do your study guide and share it with me on Google Docs. And that's all I got today. Have a great day, guys, and work on those projects. Bye.